This is the resistance.
What's up, everyone? This is the Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you are watching this, you are the Resistance. Brought to you by Meth Monster Blue, the fictitious product that doesn't actually exist because we're not sponsored by anyone. Israel does not give me $7,000 per post because probably I'm not pro-Israel enough, and for some stupid reason they don't think it good enough to pay me to be pro-Israel enough.
No, they cannot pay me to teach my dog how to use an RPG.
And as always, joining me is good old Reverend Ordo. And Lord knows what's going to come flying out of his mouth today.
Yeah.
Dude, I share my coworkers with some of this shit you close out with. They're like, dude, this guy's raunchier than us. And let me tell you, me and my coworkers, we can get raunchy.
Oh,
and
man.
Then again, you know, when you work fire mitigation, what are you going to do?
Oh, yeah. It could get to a point where, I mean, you got to have that zero fucks given attitude, and where, hey, I don't give a fuck if you are sad, whiny, bitch, whatever the motion is. I do not give a fuck.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it was Saturday. I'm just sitting there in a lawn chair, just holding up my phone, just talking to you guys. I'm like, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. And, you know, we had a lot of people come over and talk to us, you know, quite a few people, more than I initially anticipated, and a lot more people that you didn't see on camera, but we'll get to that in a bit. But Connor kind of threw me under the bus and kind of pissed me off that he did this. He's like, why aren't you over there in the middle of the protest? Because if you had actually been here and actually been tuning in, you'd know people came over, talked to us earlier, and labeled me as too right-wing.
Yeah.
And it's before I get in, and that's why I couldn't go over there, because they were already mad dogging me like a motherfucker. And we had people, what you guys didn't see off camera, because I just kept the camera focused, and occasionally you'd see some of them crossing the camera and whatnot, but you had people coming over from this side and from that side, going behind the camera and whatnot, just fucking mad dogging me. And I'm just like, okay, do something.
Well, the thing is, they're taking a playbook from Antifa, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the playbook is they do not want to be filmed. They do not want anybody recording what's going on. Well, the First Amendment states that you have a right to film in public, even to film law enforcement, especially the ones that are getting paid by Antifa.
We had that one lady come over just at random at the end of the protest going, I just want you to know I wasn't paid. I'm like, I never insinuated anyone was paid, which means that first initial conversation that I had with that first couple, that shit got around. They were going around telling everybody, oh, that guy's a Republican, that guy's a Republican. How the fuck am I a Republican? Okay, I've always identified as a civil libertarian, probably more identified with a Democrat from like the late 80s, early 90s. You know, pardon me if I exercise common sense and go, okay, what the hell's going on? And, you know, why am I labeled a Republican? Because I bring up George Soros. He goes, how do you know George Soros is funding it? Google it, asshole. You type in Google, does George Soros fund No Kings protests? And it points out, yes. I've got it posted on X. I got the screenshot posted on X. Scroll down my feed. It says, yes, George Soros is a major funder of the No Kings movement.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, you had 2,700 locations. Who the fuck do you think pays for all that? Who do you think pays for the website?
We had two
The-
here in Fresno.
Yeah.
In two different locations, you know.
Yeah. Who pays for those locations? 2,700 locations. A website. Who pays to have that? Who paid to have that website put up and maintained? There's a site map.
Blue.
Yeah, there's a site map for all the different locations of where these events are going to be. Who paid for the site map? Who pays for the what was it? The sign up app where you can sign up. Who paid for all that?
There was a lot from what I picked up, a lot of money players, big money players, from Soros to ActBlue. I mean,
yeah,
I'm surprised nobody heard about Black Lives Matter, that pathetic organization, you know, who's basically financially in the red. One of them just got charged with fraud, and racketeering going back to 2020.
Exactly.
Because we all know that they raked in nearly $100 million. Now, Candace Owens exposed Patrice Cullors, a co-founder. Okay, she bought 4 homes in the amount of $3.2 million. Black Lives Matter bought a mansion in LA for $6 million, right?
Yep.
They tried to buy a mansion in Canada for $6 million. Now, that mansion in Canada was a Freemason lodge.
Yeah.
Whether they use it or not, that is still property of the Freemasons.
Unless they sold it.
No, that stays theirs, no matter what.
I'd have to look into the legalities of that. But, my thing is, why does it make me a Republican to point out that these people are funding these operations? They're funneling money into their own pockets through these operations. Yeah. Essentially, left and right, these Democrats who are exercising their free speech against a tyrant don't even realize that their own party is tyrants and are fucking them right up the ass. Yeah. So why am I a Republican for saying, hey, we're bringing up George Soros and the fact that you're getting fucked up the ass? I didn't even get to that point. The second George Soros, the name George Soros came out of my mouth, oh, you must be a Republican. Really? Because I'm a free thinker?
I'm more of a Jeffersonian libertarian.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I stand as what would be considered independent. I'm an independent free thinker, okay? There are going to be things from both sides that I would agree with or disagree with, okay? That doesn't make one or the other.
Did they admit that they were Republicans and shit themselves?
Mm-mm.
That's what I heard.
What, that first couple?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they were straight up Democrats.
Oh, okay.
But, that's kind of what irked me with Connor. It's like, dude, I'm not trying to put myself in a fucking wasp nest here.
No, that's bad.
We already know they're looking for provocation. They've already ID'd me as a potential trigger person should something pop off. All I needed to do was just walk over there and have somebody come up and whack me upside the fucking head with a chair or something.
Well, the thing is, you were just sitting there, just filming. You didn't say nothing. You were broadcasting. We were commentating. Me and Carl were commentating everything else now, and it was good.
Yeah.
Except for seeing a couple of idiots wearing a giraffe and a fucking chicken costume and shit. What the fuck?
Big cock. Yeah, big cock showed at the protest.
Only if I had a puck gun, then I'll be over there. Holy crap,
Anyway, but still, that kind of upset me with Connor. And Connor, I love you to death, brother, but I don't know if he really understood what was going on in Canada, from Canada, I don't know if he from Canada really understood what's going on. Is that the left are trying to provoke the quote right to violence.
Yeah,
And if they can get somebody to fuck,
civil war,
like say they got me to fucking swing on somebody, even in self-defense. And say I'm over there in the middle of this protest. I get swung on. I fight back. And in self-defense.
Yeah.
I'm the aggressor because I'm the outsider who intruded on their space.
Yeah.
Which then they can then say resulted in provocation.
Exactly.
And they can label themselves as victims. And like I said during that broadcast, I will not be the spark that lights the fire of a civil war. I will not put myself in the midst of that situation, having been labeled, or in their words, identified as some sort of right-winger,
manga dollars. But we're not. We're not. I haven't voted Republican since 2001, dude. Since when Bush and Gore were doing their shit. That was 25 years ago.
Well, even so, even if you voted for Trump, and then in the previous elections voted for Obama, okay, that's the beauty of being a free-thinking individual. Going, okay, who do I think is the best person for the job? Not going, oh, I'm going to vote one way or the other because that's what my friend base does, or because that's where I live, or because my family voted that way. Yeah. Okay, I can look at both. I can look at both sides of the issue, and I can look at these people and go, okay, who do I think is good for the job? Who do I think is the right man for the job? And back during Obama's first presidential run, I will be the first to admit, even though I didn't vote in that election, I can say I honestly had hope that maybe he would have been that guy, because he was sold as that guy. We already knew about the globalists.
Gary Johnson twice.
Yeah, and
Gary Johnson was a libertarian who was a Republican.
Yeah,
and I voted for him twice as a libertarian.
Yeah, because you thought that maybe he might have been the good person for the job.
If you remember John McAfee, before he died, he also ran for the same party.
Yes, absolutely.
I voted for him. And last year, I was on TikTok every day.
Yeah.
TikTok. I was on TikTok. I was on Instagram, which I refuse to use because it's troll anyway. Mm-hmm. YouTube, TikTok. Shit. I had 2,266 followers, man. Most I ever had out there. But that's digress. 2024 was a weird year.
It was.
But it was a repeat of two elections.
Yeah.
68 and 16.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of these people on the left don't understand. And again, I'm not trying to pick on Connor. I just wish he had been there to actually know what was going on. My job there was to observe and report, especially if things did pop up. I'm far enough away to where, one, I can't be accused as an antagonist and a catalyst to trigger a civil war.
Yeah.
And two, it provides distanced accountability to where I can get the full scope from the outside.
Oh, yeah.
And go, okay, this is where it popped up.
You
did what?
You're doing good.
We got the broad picture. We've got the bird's eye view.
Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
And I really wish Connor had been here. I love Connor to death. And I'm not trying to pick on him. It's like, dude, no. I'm just saying, like, I was there to observe and report.
Yeah.
Not piss on the wasp nest and
you
get myself stung.
You're doing your job there, and they want to ask you questions. That's good. Ask questions, but the thing is,
yeah,
you were just sitting there. Mind your own business. Bother nobody. That's how it should be. If you bother nobody,
I'm on my side, they're on their side.
And the guy that looked like he wanted to really swing at you, man.
Yeah, the old man.
Yeah,
he kind of did. I think that's why he walked away. That's why I didn't try to push it any further. I'm like, okay, you want to go? Go. You just demonstrated that you cannot sit down at Thanksgiving and have a civilized conversation of differing ideologies.
That's
that is not my fault. That is not my problem. You know, I don't know you from Adam, so go back to your playground.
Of is you staying civil and doing your thing recording, and you're not saying nothing to anybody. You're reporting.
Yeah.
And the guy was asking questions. The guy he was asking questions. Very, very laid back, very chill guy. You know?
Yeah, but the second I mentioned Soros, he got all defensive. Like obviously he knew what that conversation was about. Like I didn't have to really get into details. He already knew where that conversation was going and labeled me as a hostile, and then went back over there and subsequently went around and started telling them, hey, everybody, the guy over there in the lawn chair with the camera, there's your MAGA guy. And at which point, I had several people coming around on either side periodically, just walking around, some in front of me, some behind me. And you don't see it, but I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I'm watching you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could have been able to do dual cam on my phone to where I can have both the front and the rear camera on at the same time. That way I had both angles. That way you guys could have seen it better. But I can't sit there and keep panning back and forth because I got to go through multiple things just to even get to that.
Get a GoPro.
Yeah, that or just get like two phones and just hold them up like here. Just like set one up on the tripod and I'll just walk around with the other one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, kind of like what I got going on here. The only difference is I couldn't use this. I couldn't use this phone here.
I got this here. This is a Canon. It's Canon.
Okay.
And it belonged to my uncle before he passed away.
That's an old school camera. But I'm talking about like phones.
Well, I mean, you can have one of these.
I can't exactly stream live with something like that.
Well, still, I mean, you can't have one of these to cover your ass, also your phone as well, man. Because shit.
Yeah.
And this here, you can play it back.
I think next time around, next protest I attend, I'm gonna invite a friend or two to come out with me. Just kind of have my back, while I'm focused on the job, and to kind of serve, as eyes behind my head, as well as a deterrent. Because I think some of those people were looking for an opportunity for something to pop off. But it really wouldn't look very good if they attacked the guy sitting in a lawn chair.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I brought the lawn chair. It's like, I'm just sitting here. I'm not even on the sidewalk. I am in the grass across the street from the protest, videotaping the protest, streaming the protest live for onlookers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That way I can in no wise be labeled as an antagonist.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I can understand why Connor, wanted the up closer shots, especially when the prospective Congresswoman elect was up there giving her little spiel. I can understand why he would have wanted a would-be Congress elect. She's running for a Tennessee seat. She ran before and didn't get the win, so she's trying again this voting cycle. And she's coming to these demonstrations. I don't know if it's just the demonstration we were at or she's going to other demonstrations, but she shows up at these demonstrations to promote her candidacy.
Yeah, big and white version of Maxine Waters and shit.
I mean, she was a nice enough lady. Can't remember her name offhand, but when we interviewed her last time around, she was very nice, very polite. We got along fine, and all that. But I didn't feel the need to do a repeat of what happened of the last stream on that. I didn't think we needed to do the same things we did at the last No Kings protest.
Yeah.
And given the elevated tensions of, Chucky Schumer and others calling for civil war, and was it Chucky Schumer that said that he wants to keep the government closed until after the 18th?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got all this, you got the Democrat elects wanting to escalate tensions. I was not about to be the trigger man to that.
Oh, no.
I'm going to hold accountability, but I am not going to be the trigger man for that. You are not going to start a civil war on my tombstone.
Antifa did infiltrate a No King protest.
Okay. Elaborate.
It was bad, man. It was bad.
Elaborate. I hadn't heard about this.
Someone got shot. I mean, it's supposed to be a peaceful thing, right? It's supposed to be peaceful, right?
Yeah.
What makes these bastards want to be violent when, like, dude, it's a village full of dumbass white kids who look like they are with mental issues from meth.
Okay, do they legit look like they were on meth? Because I haven't seen the footage.
No, it's the way they react to things, man. I mean, I've seen a rogues gallery of pictures of them. One of them looks like he got face fucked by a cyberized porcupine in the face.
That's pretty savage. I mean, I can't say much. I had a chick summer before last trying to get in my pants, and her face looks like somebody tried to put out a forest fire with a screwdriver.
I mean,
I can't say too much to that, because there are ugly people out there. There are beautiful people out there.
I mean, if they kept it peaceful, like, hey, dude, stay on your side, do yours over there. Let me do what I got to do here, and let me record.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, like I said, I'm there to observe and report, not get in the middle of it.
Yeah. Even if you're across the street or a fucking mile away, wherever it is, they're gonna come up to you anyway to antagonize you to do something you might regret.
Yeah. Like I said, I had people coming up on all different sides. Sometimes we caught them, sometimes I didn't because I was focused on something.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, damn, I'm glad I don't have my gun on me. I'm glad I don't have a knife on me or this or that, because if shit pops off, I'd definitely be labeled as an antagonist. We don't need that.
You're better off with bear spray.
Well, I mean, even at that, even just bare fists, man. These people, most of the people there were probably a good 10 to 15 years older than me. 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 10 15, 20 years older than me. Some of them that came over, like the two old ladies at the end, they're probably 30 years older than me. I'm 41. These women that came up towards the end, and even that couple, they look like they could have been at Woodstock, man. I mean, there was a lot of boomers there, and you figure, what are boomers? You know, people that came around in the 1950s, 1960s.
My question is this as well. You know, not just again, they're getting paid by donors. You know, whatever it is, but maybe local donors, big money locally and shit. You know.
Yeah. Like, didn't the governor of New York, Meortis or whatever? Yeah, I think he was a big contributor to the protests in his district.
Yeah.
Same with Newsom in California.
That guy, he has some major issues, man. Like major. He's trying to be. I mean, we all know what he's trying to do here. Okay, we all see this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's trying to be this Democrat equivalent to Donald Trump. Good luck with that, because here's the thing. Donald Trump has never been governor, never been senator, never been member of Congress, never, he's been president before and now, okay? Mm-hmm. Gavin Newsom, he's part of one of four families that run California. The Pelosi's, the Browns, the Newsoms, and whoever.
Yeah.
They're like the West Coast version of the five families in New York, man, you know.
Yeah.
And,
like a mob boss thing going on there.
But he's failing. If you look at California, right? If you look at the map of California, right, it's mostly red now.
Yeah. Even with redistricting, I don't know how they think that they're actually going to get the Republicans out of those 5 seats.
No.
I don't know how they can really redistrict.
They can't do it.
Engage how people are actually going to vote. Even if they got the undocumented migrants to vote, if they even managed to figure that out, how do we know that they'd even vote? How would they even predict that the migrants would actually vote Democrat? A huge lot of them bit the hand that feeds, so to speak, and voted Republican.
Yeah.
And they're going to come over here, and a great many of them probably have family or friends who are American citizens, who are voting, who have been here a while, and go, look, you see how big of a shithole this is? That's because of these assholes that are in power. That's why I voted for the other party. And then they're going to get their citizenship, or they're going to somehow manage to vote, and then they're going to vote for the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're so unpopular, even with their own party. You figure there was probably about 7 million people that showed up to these protests nationwide. That's 2% of America's population.
They want. I mean, imagine this: if the United States was controlled by, if the United States was all blue, that would be the end of the country.
Well, even so, people are waking up to like, hey, these policies aren't helping us.
They never did.
I mean, you look at you look at the Democratic shutdown. You look at the government shutdown right now because of 7 Democratic votes. They need 7 Democratic votes in order to pass this bill. But instead, they opted to shut the government down and are now saying, oh, we'll just keep it shut down for months. Honestly, if you really stop to think about it, Trump could probably come in. I don't know the legalities on this, but this is something that I was thinking about on my way back. this morning, I was thinking, you got this stalemate in Congress. You need 60 votes to pass this spending bill, this resolution. The 53 Republicans voted to pass the bill. They need 7 Democrat votes in order to pass the bill. But the Democrats are holding it up. Now, I'm thinking, maybe Trump can pass an executive order saying that if an agreement isn't reached by X amount of time, in order to avoid a national crisis and declaring a national emergency, if an agreement isn't reached, I'm thinking he could pass an executive order saying that if an agreement isn't reached by such and such a time, then the resolution will pass or fail based on the popular vote.
Exactly.
Based on majority vote. Because this government shutdown thing is kind of becoming a weaponization of either I get my way or I'm going to hold things hostage. And that's not, you need to have checks and balances here.
Democrats, neocons, and rhinos are overgrown children, Yeah. They're winning their way. Like, okay, well, let me ask this question. Okay. You, as a member of Congress, the Senate, State Assembly, you represent your district, your state, right?
Yeah.
You are not doing any good for the people you're supposed to represent them.
Yeah.
You have bent over, dropped trowel, and asked to be fucked up the ass.
Oh, it's not even that. They bent over their constituents and fucked them up the ass. You're pretty much you're heading in the right direction.
And
they are bending their constituents over and fucking them up the ass. They're going, okay, I'm not getting my way, so I'm going to make life harder on the average American, including my own constituents, until I get my way. And that's why the approval ratings for Democrats are 16% or dropped 16% or whatever. I forget which it is. And only 2% of the nation's population turned out to this protest.
They pretty much are bending over for the power players, the higher ups themselves, but they're also spitting in the face of the people they're supposed to represent.
Yeah, they're fucking over their own constituents, and they're wondering why their party's in the toilet.
Yeah, for the last 70, 80 years, you have these dumb motherfuckers, who behind the scenes, the Rothschilds, the Catholic Church, the Jesuits, the Ciabatta Jews.
Uh-oh, he fucking said it. He said it. He said the word. It's the word of the day. You just had to say the secret word, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hey, you couldn't resist.
And not just that, most of them are Luciferians.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they've done this for years.
I'm still coughing up that freaking crap out of lungs.
The Luciferians, the Satanists and shit, all behind the scenes. Okay.
Yep.
We all know what happened when you try to investigate, right, the Illuminati, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Or even go against them.
you look at the movie Eyes Wide Shut. Stanley Kubrick. Not even a month, he dies, right?
Yeah.
1932, there's a movie about the Illuminati, the secret society parties and shit, A director and a producer were found dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't there a lot of stuff that happened involved with the movie The Skulls and those movies?
The Skulls, that was a very controversial movie. It was based on Skull and Bones 322. And there's a lot of media out there kind of exposing this shit, like games like Watch Dogs 2, GTA 5, right? You had Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Right? You had movies. You had TV shows that only a little bit enough to light the match of
critical thinking.
There's a show. It was a spinoff to X-Files. It was called The Lone Gunman.
I remember that.
And there's an episode where they try to control a plane by computer to run it into the building.
Yeah.
That was just months before it even happened, But the thing is, we all know from what we're led to believe there are 4 planes, right?
Yeah. Are you talking about 9/11, right?
Survey says bullshit, there was 5.
Yeah.
But the 5th one didn't fly. It was grounded.
All right. Go into it. Hold up. Got to give him the drum roll. He's going to get into some deep shit. Here you go. Drum roll, buddy.
The flight crew, they knew. They knew.
Yeah.
They knew. And they locked it down. But they saw two shadows try to get in the plane. They caught him.
Yeah.
What happened to him? Who knows?
You never even hear about it. And that's one thing that most people don't even know about. We were talking about it the other day. Most of these people who were at these protests don't even know about this stuff. This is independent stuff. This isn't right-wing or left-wing stuff. This is, hey, our own government fucking working with this group and that group did 9/11. George Bush is a mass murderer. Does that make me a Republican? Suck my dick backwards and buy me a fucking milkshake. You cocksuckers.
The power players with money, they're higher up in their little ivory towers, jerking out the family dog. Okay?
Poor doggy. Bye, Dorothy. Bye, Dodo.
They spent billions of dollars, right? Spending billions of dollars across the country, across the world, to destabilize. How? They're throwing money on these little groups like BLM.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter bullshit. Antifa. Because why? Because the money's so damn fucking good, they're willing to do it for 2.5 years, right?
Yeah. If the government shut down and the economy crashes and the dollar collapses and people are starving and upset and hungry, that's where violence incurs. And then it goes to like what we were talking about at the end of the broadcast. on Saturday.
Mr. Ventura said, word for word, I quote, things don't just happen, it is planned.
Yeah. And at which point, where does it lead? Straight to the Hunger Games. You got a societal collapse. You got wars, rumors of wars. You got people in America in particular, left versus right, people killing each other. You got the globalists step in. You got the perfect platform for the globalists to step in and go, okay, everything's out of control. We are the solution. Welcome to the Hunger Games. Because you all can't manage your own shit.
2020 and 2022, half that year, okay, those 2.5 years, right? I was reading the USA Today in 2019, right close to end of the year. You know, side of the page it stated they're trying to find a vaccine for COVID-19.
Yeah, which was supposed to have come out with Operation Warp Speed.
Who died that year? Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Died that year. Him and his daughter. Why? Because he knew something. Like Paul Walker. Paul Walker was running a organization, a charity organization. They went to Haiti. Right?
Yeah.
With Haiti. He found some shit. Which he didn't was supposed to.
Yep. He walked into the wrong room at the wrong time.
And that's what led to his death.
Yeah. That's usually how it happens. Somebody figures out something, like some information, they come across some information, or they walk in on something and become aware of something that they were never meant to find. And it just flips the switch in them. And that's where most people, especially on the left, are leaning now. And I think even we've seen that with many of the protesters there, even just the people we interacted with, especially towards the end, most of them, they're like, yeah, they're still clinging to that idea, but you can see it in their mannerisms for the most part, you know, with most of the people we interacted with, that they're starting to understand that they maybe backed the wrong horse, and that there's no good horse in the stable. Maybe
they're being pawns in a much larger game.
Yeah, and I think they're figuring that out. It's like, hey, we vote for these guys. Things aren't getting better for us. The districts we live in that are under these democratic policies are just getting worse and worse. I mean, you take Detroit. Used to be the Motor City capital. Now it's a fucking ghetto. Okay, what do you think of when you think of Detroit? Do you think of Motor City and its heyday? Or do you think ghetto, dangerous, bad, stay away from there?
Look at Dearborn, Michigan. Look at Dearborn, you know.
Yeah.
A Muslim mayor told a Christian pastor, you do not belong in my city. Whose city?
Yeah, it's like, sorry.
Whose city?
You're in the wrong sandbox, buddy. I mean, freedom of religion, yes, but
we got in New York, we got Andrew Cuomo about to bow out and support that Swallow guy, that the guy that runs the Guardian Angels and shit.
Yeah,
in New York, he's about to back the guy.
Yeah, it's insane. And I think, you know, people on the ground, you know, the voters, I think they're starting to wise up to this. And, you know, I can understand what that one lady was talking about on Saturday, you know, about, you know, Trump demonizing them. Yeah, there's a lot of mass shooters. There's a lot of violence coming from the left. And yes, there's a lot of rhetoric and name calling coming from the left as well. But if you've got the president of the United States, what's his job? To be the man of the people.
They found a nest yesterday.
Yeah. But, you know, as far as the president of the United States goes, isn't it his job to maintain a certain level of professionalism and go, okay, maybe there's a reason why these people don't like me. Maybe let's try to, instead of perpetuating that and, you know, engaging in the mudslinging, because let's not mince words. Yeah, there's a lot of mudslinging coming from the left, calling right wingers Nazis and all that. But the right doesn't need to engage in that as well, especially the president of the United States does not need to engage in that as well and engage in mudslinging and
yesterday
making AI videos about flying a jet airliner with a crown on his head, jumping shit on protesters.
I was
come on, you're not winning any hearts here, buddy.
No, I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking, like, could he be paying somebody behind the scenes?
Oh, Trump?
No, hear me out.
I'm listening.
They found a nest, a separate nest in a tree.
Okay.
Now, kind of thinking, Trump's building it himself. Okay?
Yeah.
Bar none.
Despite his bankruptcies, he's got quite a few assets he can lean on.
Sympathy, the way he's getting, in a way, I'm kind of wondering if he's paying or if somebody on his behalf is paying somebody to play a role of a sniper.
You're kind of leaning into the conspiracy theory that the shooting of his ear was faked. Not entirely impossible.
Because the thing is,
I would say at that point, I don't think so.
Biden as a rematch for 2020.
Okay.
All of that shit. Biden, we all knew the guy was gone. Okay, the guy was gone.
Yeah.
Okay? So after that one debate, he fucking like
it was done.
We all knew that he was done. The writing was on the wall, but his wife, that fucking dumbass. Congratulations, you answered every question. No, he didn't, you fucking cunt. They were
holding the guy up like it was weekend at Bernie's.
Kind of headlights.
Yeah, and see that, and that's you're kind of alluding to the point I was trying to make, is that we had 4 years of weekend at Bernie's.
His wife was running the whole fucking show.
Yeah.
His wife,
you gotta admit, that's elderly abuse, bro. You're hitting the nail right on the head.
And now he could have cancer now?
Mm-hmm. Stage 4 cancer, isn't it?
I don't know.
I believe it was stage 4 cancer, which means they could have checked him out and had him diagnosed long before he was diagnosed. So you have 4 years of elderly abuse. That's damning to the Democratic Party.
And who else was the assistant? The culprit too. Kamala fucking Harris, the OG Hawk-Tua girl.
Yeah, and who they just swat in after the primaries as the official Democratic candidate, and then they want to scream "No Kings." It's like, dude, you slotted in this person after the primaries. No primary; she was not voted in as the primaries, and you want to scream "No Kings" now?
All on TikTok last year.
It's like no kings, but yes, queens.
Around this time. It was like a what the fuck moment, right?
Yeah.
This one black guy this one black woman goes, "Why are you voting for Kamala Harris?" Because she's black and she's a woman. The guy goes, "Wait a minute, you are wasting your vote because it's about what's her policy."
Yeah.
What is she going to bring to the table once she's in office?
Yeah.
The thing is, they see her as, oh, she's a black woman. Time out, dudes and dudettes. Have you seen her mom? Her mom is Indian. Her father is Jamaican Irish.
And even so, she was still quite quote a minority, which is fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but still,
that shouldn't be the basis of electing somebody around the country.
Jamaican Irish.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to vote for somebody or hire somebody because of the color of their skin.
No.
I'm going to go with the person who I think is most qualified for the job, who, again, I thought back in 2009, 2010 would have been Obama. I'm not going to lie. I would have thought that it was Obama. I wouldn't have voted for the guy because of the color of his skin, but because I thought he would be the one to get the job done.
The qualification, the experience, and can they do the job?
Yeah. And on that note, and I do want to double back to the Trump shooting thing, your conspiracy theory on that. I do want to double back to that in a moment, but I do have another point that I want to make that we kind of just segued into.
Okay.
Yeah, on paper, at a first glance, and I'm not trying to sound sexist here, but if you really think about it, I would never vote for a woman, at least in this day and age, because you figure, yes, the West, the United States, is progressive in that regard. We'd be cool with a woman president, but the rest of the world, especially these, quote, misogynistic third world countries, Russia, Ukraine, China, Israel, the Middle East, they're very, for lack of a better term, misogynistic. They are not going to take a woman seriously.
No.
And at which point, if Harris were president, what would she have to do if they're not taking her seriously? She'd have to flex on them. And what are these types of people? What do these men do to women who try to flex on them?
Yeah.
Do we really want a bitch slap?
No.
On an international scale?
No.
Okay, no. It's like you got a woman that tries to flex on, quote, toxic masculine world leaders. Yeah, we're gonna get warheads shoved up so far up our ass, we're gonna have mushroom clouds shooting out of our nostrils. Again, not trying to sound sexist, but let's be fucking real. On the international playing field, it just doesn't work. Yeah, if it were just Western policies here in the United States, great. Elect a congresswoman, elect a female senator, great. Whatever. Okay, but keep the international stage,
it's not going to go well. I'll be honest here. I agree. A woman president will not do good. Be good,
Well, you look at what happened
a woman governor, mayor, senator, member of Congress. That's good and all. Honestly, it's good and all. But if you had Hillary Clinton in office as president, she would cause us to go to war with Russia and China.
Yeah, within a few days.
And
that's not just because of the demographic I mentioned, but just because she's a fucking sociopath.
If this happens, we all know that there are going to be people, citizens in this country, that would love a crack at taking her out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the thing is, we do not want a war. I mean, this is coming from me. We could not afford or handle a war with Russia or China. I mean, shit, we were in the Middle East for almost 20 years. In the Middle East. The American people do not need this shit.
Yeah, and we can double back to that in a minute. But I wanted to close up on what you were talking about with the shooting. The American people see all these demographics that we've talked about for the last 10, 20 minutes. They see all these things.
Oh, yeah.
Even people on the left. Trump didn't really need the sympathy vote. He had it in the bag. I don't believe that him faking a shooting and faking him getting shot in the air. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying that the likelihood is very low.
It's probable because the thing is, I agree. Trump does not need a sympathy vote. The guy was president before. He didn't need a shit.
Yeah.
Now, the shooting, in my opinion, I tell you what, if that kid hit the mark, Harris would have been in office right now.
Yeah. She probably would have been in office had the bullet actually hit the mark.
The number one dumbest president taking the lead over Joe Biden.
Yeah. Well, like there was a lot of issues as to why Kamala Harris was not a good pick. You know, especially when she was working as an attorney here in California. I say here in California. I'm in Tennessee. I used to live in California.
Senator, Attorney General, and attorney. Now, a U.S. attorney in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
She was the attorney up there while my dad worked up in the Bay Area.
Yeah, you know, she worked.
This woman got on her knees for Jerry Brown and Montel Williams.
Yeah, kissing their boots.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you figure when she was working in California as an attorney there, she worked tirelessly, even after marijuana was legalized. She worked tirelessly to keep people who had marijuana charges alone locked up. She had a guy whose evidence acquitted him of murder.
Not Jerry Brown. It was Willie Brown that paid for her education. He got her into politics.
Yeah.
While he was married.
Mm-hmm. But you figure she was never a popular candidate.
Oh,
she worked tirelessly to keep an innocent man locked up on murder charges when she worked to suppress the evidence that would have set that man free. She worked tirelessly to keep people with marijuana charges locked up even after marijuana was legalized in California. Okay? I would never vote for somebody like that, man or woman.
No.
Okay, that's fucked up.
The kind of person that would do that is someone that does not give a shit about anybody but themselves, you know.
Agreed. And that's why
here's Kamala Harris, the OG Hot Tua girl, by the way. Age Tua girl.
I would have figured that would have been AOC.
Now, the rumor mill's going around that she's planning to run again in 28 and have an AOC as her VP. That ain't going to happen.
I heard AOC was going to be considered as a presidential candidate, as well as Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom.
I hear they're the two top contenders.
Let me tell you why these two will not make it. Okay. AOC, she's part horse. Okay.
But let's quit with the mudslinging and let's just stick to political facts.
She has cost, job man, like 25,000 job man.
Was it 25,000? I thought it was 2,500 on the Amazon contract
in New York, because that's where
the Amazon contract
would be.
Yeah, the Amazon contract. I thought it was 2,500.
No, 1,000.
25,000.
Yeah. She killed that job. That Amazon job, that would employed, in my opinion, more than 25,000 people, man. And the reason she killed it is because she tried to go after Jeff Bezos, man.
Who was for it?
Yeah. But her Green New Deal, she was surrounded by old ass white guys like like sick. Fuck, man. And then Newsom, we all know. Okay, we all know what he did. Okay, worst
Just the
mayor,
Palisades alone.
worst governor of all time.
Yeah.
The fires, in my opinion, I think it was done on purpose, man.
Oh, it was. Having worked in fire mitigation myself, I can tell you those systems by law have to be maintained. Water has to be in those systems. They have to be inspected and routine maintenance on those things regularly. You have to have water in those reservoirs. You have to have fire gear on hand. And don't get me wrong, I understand fire gear is expensive, but you do not, living in a state that is almost always on fire, you do not donate your fire gear overseas. Okay, fire boots alone used cost several $100s. Okay, fire equipment, and that's just the boots. That's not including the overalls, the jacket, the gloves, the helmet, and everything else that goes over. I forget the thing that goes over your head. Not the helmet. It's
almost $1,000 a pop.
It's almost like oh no, it'd be several $1,000s for full on fire equipment. That's just the clothing. If you want to get into SCBAs, you know, the face masks, the oxygen tanks, that's even more. And that's not just to own the equipment. You have to have to inspect that equipment regularly. You have to put on the SCBA, the face mask, and test out the tanks, make sure they don't work. I actually had an incident where we were testing out SCBAs, and I reached around to turn the tank off, turn the tank on, and it shot off.
Well, not just that.
It's like we looked up the air. It just kind of went. I'm like, whoa, what the hell happened? My fire sergeant has to go and shut it off.
One lady, she was a female fire chief.
Yeah. Who was not even qualified for the job, you know, because she can't lift X amount of weight. How are you going to have somebody as a fire chief that can't lift 100 pounds? Most cases, it's, I believe, 100 pounds. You have to at least be able to do 10 push-ups and 20 sit-ups.
Yeah.
Minimum, and run a half mile in 15 minutes. In most instances, sometimes some areas it's more, some areas it's less, but that's the general ballpark of physique. 10 to 20 push-ups, 10 to 20 sit-ups, and run a half a mile in 15 minutes. That is generally the standard.
Last fire known was 4 to 5 miles from Fresno. Genupa Valley.
Really? Yeah. See
that. Okay. Now there was a military installation in the middle of the desert. Okay. Broken into, 3 Humvees stolen.
A whole mess of arms were stolen too.
One of them was fully armored.
Mm-hmm.
They took bayonets. They took medical supplies, right? They took night vision goggles.
Yeah.
And they were trying to break into this one room where it had uniforms. They couldn't do it. Now they arrested a illegal immigrant wearing a firefighter's uniform.
Yeah.
They bust his ass by a house that was burning. Over what? We need room to put a station for the train. Like, dude, the goddamn train is a waste of money, man.
Yeah. They started that project years ago, and they still haven't done anything with it. The same with the Obama Museum. Aren't they into like the billions of dollars now? And they've been working on that thing for years, not even nowhere near done. It's like, what the hell? Where's this money going?
All because of a goddamn fish.
Allegedly. But you don't drain an entire reservoir to relocate a fish. And it doesn't take that long to drain and refill a reservoir either.
Yeah. It was bone dry. Bone dry
for quite some time.
Why wasn't it?
Well, even at that, the backup reservoir, why the fuck was that running out into the fucking Pacific?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, why did they wait 24 hours to fully dispatch the fire brigade?
Well, there was one arrest, but yet there was more people involved because I was on Rumble the whole entire week, just really getting updates and shit, you know. And
I mean, there was so much information regarding that. Gavin Newsom should be in jail right now just for that alone.
Yeah.
But for everything else he's doing now.
Him and the mayor of LA.
Karen
Bass.
Confirm this for me. Did Gavin Newsom sign an executive order for redistricting in California?
No.
I heard that he had done redistricting in California to regain control of those 5 seats.
No, he can't do it
in Congress.
No, that would be illegal.
Well, I heard that he did it in retaliation to what happened in Texas.
Well, the thing is,
which was court ordered by a judge.
He did. That'll be unconstitutional against the law.
Yeah. At which point, I did hear. I have been hearing a lot about that. I was wondering if it was true or not. You know, we're gonna have to maybe do some research into that. But if true, with the Palisades fire, he needs to be in jail. Dude needs to be in jail.
Gavin Newsom is so worried about his presidential legacy. That's gone.
Oh, no, it's that train derailed before it ever got on the tracks. And I also hear that he is trying to push
Hey, huh? Yeah. What? Yeah. All right.
This is brought to you by Meth Monster Blue.
All right. All right. I won't forget. I don't know. Bye.
World never stops spinning, does it?
Nah. Well, but the thing is, I mean, Karen Bass should be also in jail too.
Yeah. But there was something about Gavin Newsom I wanted to bring up, and you can confirm this as well, being in California. I heard that he either wants to or has pushed legislation forward that would allow California to pay reparations for Black people. Do you know anything about that?
A little bit, but the thing is, how are you going to pay reparations to people that have no money, have no way to handle money?
Well, that aside, anything like that aside, here's the thing. It's going to be taxpayer funded, obviously, because it's coming from the state of California, which means it's going to be state income tax. White people, you figure these minorities are probably going to be going, yay, the whitey's going to be paying reparations finally. Yay, yay. But you figure California is only 33% white, 34% is white. The rest, the other 64% is what? 66 to 67% is minorities.
Prior to the Civil War, right? Prior to the Civil War, right?
Yeah, But here's what I'm
What
alluding to.
reparations did they get?
None. But apparently
Yeah,
he
yeah,
wants to pay
farm.
reparations now to their descendants. All other issues aside, let's just focus on the money here.
Descendants, look, here's the thing. The descendants aren't getting shit. And they won't be getting shit. Because
Yeah.
whatever happened back then, happened back then. Because the fact is, at the end of the Civil War, right?
Yeah.
A good portion of them, they were given land to farm on.
Yeah.
In Texas, they are treated good in Texas. As the places.
So
Not all,
technically, a lot of these people already got reparations.
Yeah.
Technically, see,
But,
that's another variable I didn't think about before. But I thank you for bringing that up, Rick.
the thing is, they're thinking, well, everybody was slaves. Some were freed slaves.
Yeah.
But yet, after the Proclamation of Emancipation
Let's
happened,
make the proclamation. Yes.
yeah, it is slavery.
Yeah.
But yet, you have these southern states saying, whoa, wait a minute. They belong to us. No, because the war was between two sides. Now, you had industrial, which was the north.
Yeah. And the agriculture on the south.
Yeah. Now, when you look at the descendants, do they get reparations? No. Why? Because they did not go through what their ancestors did.
Yeah.
Why? Because the descendants are having it too easy. And they're using slavery as an excuse, as a crutch.
Okay. Yeah. With all that aside.
But the ancestors, yeah, they worked in the field. Some worked in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. The ones that were in the house, they were treated better.
Yeah. And some slaves were treated like shit. Some slaves were treated great. There's a lot of variables there from that time period. And a lot has happened between then and now. But I'm focused right here on the now. If reparations in California paid reparations to Black people in California, here's how it would go. 33% of that population is white. That means 67% are minorities. Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Asians, Pacific Islanders.
Yeah.
Asians make up a very small majority, so you can pretty much rule them out. Native Americans, the majority of them have reservation to turn to, so they don't have to pay taxes. So, and Latinos, a great many of them, even those with citizenship, work under the table and manage to maintain it to where they work under the table and aren't paying taxes.
Yeah.
So you figure, even with Whitey paying 33% of the reparations, Gavin Newsom will have tricked the Black community into paying for their own reparations.
Exactly.
In majority.
That's why it'll never happen.
And if it does, and the Black community figures out that Gavin Newsom tricked them into paying their own reparations for the most part, at most 67% of their own reparations, they're going to be pissed. And Gavin Newsom is going to be in so much shit.
Gavin Newsom cannot do it through executive order. Okay?
Yeah.
Through executive order, he can do it.
Yeah, I don't know what it would have to be for him to actually get that through on the state level.
It has to be it has to be brought up through the state assembly,
Yeah.
That's like there are certain things that Trump can't do through executive order because that'll be stopped by the Supreme Court. There's things that
or an act of Congress.
A mayor can't do very much because his hands are tied, right? Tied.
Yeah.
They have to have approval through the city council. Newsom can't do very much because of the state assembly.
Checks and balances.
Yeah.
Even if we're wrong on any given point, as far as the checks and balance system goes, there are checks and balances to, in theory, prevent the abuse of power.
Yeah,
is what we're alluding to. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if something like that actually got pushed through,
if that ever happened,
if the people figure out that they got doped into paying their own reparations, oh my God,
that means every black person in California would vote red or vote independent or libertarian. That means the Democratic Party would lose the complete black vote in California.
Yeah. And they pretty much already have.
Yeah.
Because people in California who live there see, okay, I keep voting for these. I keep voting for the Smurfs, and the Smurfs aren't doing anything. My situation is just getting worse and worse and worse. Living in a blue state, in a blue city, things just keep getting worse and worse and worse. I keep voting for these people, hoping it's going to get better, and it doesn't.
It will.
The people are seeing it, whether they're black, brown, white, whatever. People are seeing it.
It don't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever your nationality is, gay, straight, whatever.
Yeah.
You're still going to get fucked over no matter what.
Yeah.
And right now, if you look at New York right now, right? Elise Stefanik, a Republican, she's ahead of Kathy Hochul, governor right now, by 5 points.
Yeah.
And if Elise Stefanik becomes governor elect,
She's done.
There will be some changes in New York, man.
Oh yeah.
Because if Zoran Mamdani becomes mayor of New York, he would have a huge microscope on his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people in New York, as well as California, Illinois, other places, they are done.
And it's getting to the point where these people are going to get run out on a rail.
Oh, yeah. Their writing's on the wall, and they know this. Okay? Democrats know their writing's on the wall. The people have woken up. They have risen up, and they're saying, fuck you, I ain't taking this shit no more.
Yeah. And I think we see that with these protests.
Oh, yeah.
What were the protest numbers for the last No Kings protest? Do you all know offhand?
The one in Chicago, the one in North Carolina, they were about the same as in where you're at.
Okay, hold on. Let me check. How many people attended the first No Kings protest in total? Organizers estimated that nearly 7 million people attended the June No Kings protest, making it one of the largest single-day demonstrations in U.S. history, blah, blah, blah. Crowdsourcing analysis placed the turnout between 2 and 4.8 million. So they're saying that the numbers were about the same as this. They're saying that the numbers were the same this time around as last time, theoretically. Depending on who you talk to, organizers estimate nearly 7 million. Crowdsourcing analysis between 2 and 4.8 million. ACLU estimates more than 5 million. Time Magazine estimates roughly 5 million. And even then, that's like 2% of America's population. I mean, honestly, I think you had a bigger turnout in, what was it, back in 2010? Oh, sorry, what was it? God damn it, what was it? I know it, I can. Not Million Mask March, the other one.
Well, the thing is, the numbers
Occupy Wall Street.
Well,
I think Occupy Wall Street was probably bigger than this.
The thing is, well, I mean, the numbers can be inflation too. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the New York Times or
yeah, they can boister their numbers all they want. But I would definitely say that, you know, at least from what we experienced on camera, that the first protest had a much higher turnout than this past Saturday's. I mean, there was still a fairly decent turnout, but overall, I think it was a lot smaller.
Each city may have the same amount of people in each city, but total, my guess would be about around maybe 3.5 million, 5 bullshit, you know. But oh no, it's your mom calling. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Okay. I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. All right. Bye.
You good?
I'm good.
All right. Yeah. But would you say there was less people this time around than there was the first time around? Recap the first video?
I think it's been kind of drawn down a little bit in the number range of people, because the first one in July, that was pretty big, you know. But I mean, the thing is, my question is, how many people saw the writing on the wall and saw what it is? A waste of time.
Yeah. Or that they were being used as pawns on a board for Civil War games, for the John Podesta plan. You know, I barely alluded to that in George Soros, and that guy had a fucking shit fit about it.
Just flipped.
Yeah. Was like, oh, I can't talk to you. You're a Republican. It's like, how am I a Republican for pointing out the John Podesta plan?
Here's a guy who is a Norwegian Jew, a Nazi youth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Became a multi-billionaire running 5 different organizations.
Yeah.
And showing his money that way to send out money to these groups like Antifa and BLM and shit, you know.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You know, but, you know, these people, you know, that guy in particular, he got lost his damn mind when I mentioned that. And, you don't have to be a Republican or a Democrat to sit there and go, okay, George Soros is funding this. Your politicians are openly saying they want to keep the government shut down to elevate tensions and are openly calling for civil war. Exactly. Okay, why does that make a person a Republican for pointing that out and pointing out that you're being used as fucking pawns?
They're being used, as a pawn, because they need people to be so brain fogged into knowing that, we're here to brain fog you into doing what we want you to do, but here we'll throw you a few bucks here and a few bucks here.
Yeah.
Do what we want you to do so our hands are clean. Well, I'm sorry, Professor Nut Jobby Doogie Doogie. Your hands are never clean because even though he had money to a village of idiots,
Yeah.
it's never clean.
Yeah. And it's like that woman that came over at the end of the protest, it's like, I just want to let you know I wasn't getting paid for this. I'm like, I never said you were. Like, I'll take you at your word for it. But, if I choose to look it up and I see a paycheck from Soros being deposited into your bank account, public records state that the Soros Foundation donated X amount of money to protesters in Winchester, Tennessee. I'm going to be like,
No, it's your mom calling. What does she want?
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that, Mom. Yeah, I can do that. Cool. It's cool. Okay. All right. I like the Mom.
She does realize you're doing a podcast right now, right?
Yeah. No, she's not home. She's in the facility.
Oh, man.
And no matter what, man. And when she's home, can you give me yeah.
Hey, love your mom, man. Love your mom.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, it's pretty much that. I mean, what she said. I'm not getting paid. Darling, nobody told you that you're getting paid.
Like nobody asked. Nobody asked. You just came over here and volunteered that information, which makes me wonder.
By saying what you said, darling, we're going to look into that. And if you are, we're going to call your ass out.
I wonder if something will come up. Let's just Google search. Let's just Google search.
What's her name?
I don't know what her name was, but let me Google search. Did George Soros pay no King's protesters in Winchester, Tennessee? Claims that George Soros paid protesters in Winchester, Tennessee lack evidence, though his Open Society Foundation has provided funding to national organizations like Indivisible that organized the recent No Kings protests. The protests were planned in numerous locations across the U.S. and were not unique to Winchester. So at this point, hey, we can lean on the answer being no, due to lack of evidence.
Yeah.
But even so, just the fact that she came over and volunteered that information going, hey, just want to let you know that I didn't get paid for this. I'm like, that's kind of suspect. Especially when nobody insinuated that you were.
Yeah.
And it kind of begs the question, okay, what was the conversation in that crowd regarding the skinny guy sitting in a lawn chair holding videoing on his phone, live streaming from his cell phone? I kind of do in part wish that I had been a fly on the wall and been able to hear what was being said about me and namely us in that crowd.
Yeah.
And again, I love Connor to death. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just like, it was obvious that I should not be anywhere in the middle of that crowd.
No, there's a guy that walked into one yesterday, Saturday, and just completely just walked right in. Just kind of, and he wore a MAGA hat too.
Yeah, it's like,
dude.
It's like a freaking wasp flying into a beehive. You're dead. You're dead if you do.
It's like some dumb guy putting his dick in a wasp nest.
Yeah. Don't give Mr. Giggles any ideas, man. He might be listening.
With honey.
Yeah. Again, don't give Mr. Giggles any ideas, man. He likes to do that crazy shit. He's out and about, that thankfully. But if that motherfucker happened to walk in and hear you saying it, he might just try.
Well, the thing is, I'm seeing this shit all the time. I'm on all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And researching. Like, dude, Antifa is paying off Portland PD.
Yeah, you were saying that before the broadcast started. You had said
And
about that.
and we all know where they get the money from.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, Portland PD is protecting Antifa, but they're arresting independent journalists. Okay.
Yeah, I believe that
And-
one of Alex Jones's people got arrested on Saturday after he was beaten up. He was jumped in a crowd, and they arrested him.
Yeah.
I don't know the details on this. I don't even know if it was an actual InfoWars reporter or just somebody, or just a reporter in general. But I do remember hearing that in passing.
They assaulted a guy and went to him, hey, look, I got assaulted. But yeah, but within 5 minutes, he was in cuffs.
Yeah, and you figure if that had been me, I'm 41 years old. Most of the people there were probably between 50 and 70, give or take. Okay, I've got a few years on these people. I'm a lot younger than a great majority of the people that were there. Okay, if a confrontation broke out, even if I just kind of huddled into a ball, I'd probably still have gone to jail because somebody probably would have gotten hurt in the scuffle, and I would have gone to jail even if I was just huddled into a little ball and didn't actually swing on somebody. Just because I'm younger and maybe somebody got hurt in the scramble inadvertently.
Exactly.
Okay, again, I'm not trying to jump Connor's shit. I understand why he wanted me to go over there, but what I wanted to convey initially, and I hope he doesn't get pissed off at me, and if he does, come and talk to me. But I want to make clear, my reasoning here. I read the room. I read the room before he ever got on camera. I read the room. And I knew it was just one of those situations. I need to not go in the wasp nest.
Yeah. That would have been one of the craziest things even to happen, because you never know what their mental thing is, because they were so indoctrinated
And wound up.
radicalized,
Yeah.
all that shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then, you can break it down just simplistically. Tensions were already high because of recent political issues, the government shutdown, Trump in his mouth, and making AI videos about dumping shit on protesters. His behavior, regardless of his policies, good or bad, his behavior toward and his language towards Democrats isn't helping his cause, and it isn't helping people, whether Republican or independent, on the street. Okay, it's not helping to de-escalate tension.
It's been
so tensions are already high, and then you got that couple who comes over and talks to me, and then goes back over there and go, "Hey, Red, sick them."
I mean, it's been high for the last 9 years.
Yeah, well, even so, you figure tensions are high, and then you got that couple that comes over and talks to me, labels me a Republican, and then goes back over there and starts talking amongst their constituents. And it's only me and that other guy that I talked to who was in the red shirt. It was just me and him who were on that side of the street, and the occasional no cage protester that came over on our side just kind of walk back and forth or walk behind me. And I'm just kind of like, okay, hope this doesn't have to get interesting.
It's what they rehearsed.
Yeah. So again, it's one of those things. I read the room.
They rehearse this shit on a daily basis. So when they go out, they have script in mind of what to do and what not to do, and you name it,
Yeah, and even if they didn't rehearse it, they're already you've got people who are already in that mindset where tensions are already high, and you got this guy who was prospectively an antagonist. You have to assume he was an antagonist given the amount of people that came over to talk to us after the fact. Like that lady who came over. Oh, I just want you to know that I'm not getting paid for this. Obviously, that first initial couple was talking. And the people that came over and were scoping us out on and off camera went back over there and we're talking. Okay, so there was clearly buzz about the Worldwide Resistance Network being on scene.
That we know of.
Yeah. But, again, it's a matter of having read the room. And otherwise, I would have been right over there. But after that initial conversation, I'm like, probably best to stay put.
But the question is, did anybody know us over there?
See, that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people really know us because we've been off the map for so long. You've been doing your own thing under your own name for so long. But, when I hung it up in 2019.
What I'm saying is, we restarted back in February.
Yeah.
And
but even then, getting word back out there takes a lot of work. And I'm doing a lot of this footwork myself. Whereas back in the day, we had a lot of people pushing the brand. We had Anonymous backing us because of what I did with YRB. We had a lot. We were getting a lot of exposure. I was very active in the community in which I lived back then. Whether it was Hemet, San Jacinto, or Hesperia. I became very active in the local communities and made myself known. I've only covered two No Kings protests here, and I posted it on the local public forums for the area on social media, on Facebook, so that people in the area can tune in and watch the feed. Hence why you had that comment. I'm fixing to drive by with my American flag. Because I shared the link. So we are getting out there. We are.
No, we all read that. Now,
yeah.
We're all thinking, okay, is this guy local nearby, or is this somewhere else?
Yeah.
I'm thinking more somewhere else.
Yeah, because Anonymous, and we talked about this before, and Anonymous just kind of scattered to the four winds in many regards. I mean, they still claim Anonymous, but they're not as tight knit as they used to be. That community and the exposure just isn't there as much as it used to be. And after the book burnings and the cancel culture, recovering from that, and the 5-year hiatus that I was on, I was kind of my own worst enemy in that regard. Getting us back out there and letting people know, hey, we're back.
Oh yeah.
Getting ourselves back out there.
There's a anon civil war on TikTok.
Oh, I'm sure there is. It's because, like I said, everybody kind of scattered to the four winds, got their own ideas.
But there's a few that are using the name to collect money.
Well, I mean, we monetized our shit back in the day, but we never claimed to be anonymous. We were allied with Anonymous.
We're allies, supporters, a few,
but we were never part of a collective idea.
Yeah, we were a few goofballs that were on the same page, but
Yeah. And even then, we were demonetized back in, I think, what, 2015?
Yeah,
when the whole thing with, cancel culture really started kicking off.
I think it was before. I think it was because of that clip you put up. It was not even 5 seconds. Not even 5 seconds. It was like shit,
Like, I mean, I've done and said a lot of things that probably should have gotten me kicked off.
But the one thing,
so I'm not saying
funny,
it wasn't unwarranted. Like I said, I'm my own worst enemy.
The one thing that was kind of funny was that documentary you did on YRV.
Yeah, YRV got us a lot of exposure. The interview with that TSA agent got us a lot of exposure as well. But we were pretty well known amongst anonymous circles. But as far as the general public goes, they're still just waking up to Alex Jones. They're still just becoming aware of Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate, Charlie Kirk, and all that.
He's suing.
Yeah.
Alex Jones is suing the families of that Sunday Hook.
He's not suing the families. He is suing the law firms and the courts. Specifically, he is not targeting the families. He never targeted the families. He was accused of pissing on their graves and stalking and harassing these people. And they came out and said in court, and I watched the show trial, they asked these people, who told you? It's like, did Alex Jones ever contact you? No. Were you told by a third party about any of these things? Yes. Can you say who the third party was? No, I can't. They asked if they knew whether or not Alex Jones actually pissed on children's graves. They said no. They heard it from somebody else, but couldn't say who. There was a lot of funny shit to the trial. I can't get into dynamics. I won't sit here and be biased. Go watch the HBO show trial for yourself. Watch the whole thing from beginning to end. Not just clips, not a documentary. Watch the goddamn trial from day one to the last. And watch it for yourself.
I say this. Never get information from a third party, because even they have not got all the information themselves.
Yeah, like I say, go to the source. Like that couple that I was talking to at the No Kings protest. Well, how do you know George Soros is funding it? Follow the money. Pick up your phone. Open up Google. Does George Soros fund No Kings protests? Yes. Comes up in Google. I got a fucking screenshot of it. Hold on. Let me bring that up. I'll bring it up for you. Screenshots.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that say? Can you see it? Okay. Can you see it okay? Or is it just white screen? Yeah, okay. It says, and you can look this up on our Twitter at RealTWWRN on X. I have the screenshots posted. The question was, who funds No Kings protest? Billionaire donor George Soros is reportedly funding many organizations involved in the No King protests, including Indivisible, beyond major donors and foundations. A wide range of groups and individuals provide funding for the nationwide rallies. Then it goes into the organization and funding sources. George Soros and Open Society Foundations, Indivisible, labor unions, prominent progressive coalitions, other partner organizations, individual donors and crowdfunding, so on and so forth. All those screenshots in detail are on our X account at RealTWWRN. You can look for yourself. Okay? Exactly. So you can Google search it. But yeah, I'm a Republican because I bring this up and I'm concerned because George Soros, who funded Black Lives Matter, which turned extremely violent and had pallets of bricks just mysteriously showing up at protest sites is funding this event, and then goes, and then we hear that Chucky Schumer and others are saying, hey, we want to keep the government shut down and we want a civil war.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
say
concerned.
this.
I'm here because I'm concerned. I'm streaming to not only cover the event, but hold accountability.
I've said this here a while back. I said if there was ever a war, I'm gonna say it right now, Antifa would not last. BLM will not last. Because these groups have no idea how the world works. They're living it in their minds.
Yep.
They're living it through these ideologies. And if a battle that happens, I mean a civil war broke out, it will not last.
No. And we've discussed those variables many times.
Each state, look, each state has a militia. Okay? A militia. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Antifa, they have some members of people that are armed themselves, you know. So does BLM.
Yeah.
But most of the militias are former military.
Yeah.
And
who are most likely conservative leaning.
If you look at the border of Arizona and New Mexico, you have the Minutemen. The Minutemen. Who is basically a militia.
Yeah.
And they stuck to the original Minutemen. They follow as a militia group, you know. But
yeah.
The thing is, if an actual war happened right now, Antifa will not last. BLM will not last.
Yeah, they would expect that these militias and the local military and police are going to side with them. They've already made enemies of the police. They're making enemies. They're getting right up in the faces of military personnel, the National Guard. They're attacking ICE agents. Some of them have been shot at. And most of these militias that you're referring to are part of these same organizations and are more than likely conservative leaning who have been alienated by the left. Okay, I mean, it's just a bad scene all the way around. But hypothetically speaking, say that the Democratic left actually won this civil war. Say they got their civil war. Say they got Trump out of office. Say they won the war. What then? Antifa is still labeled. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and all these groups still labeled as terrorist organizations. You know, the Democratic Party ain't going to go and change that. And then they're going to go ahead and label Republicans and MAGA supporters as a terrorist organization. And now the game plan that was talked about back in the early 2000s during Bush's administration, where they talked about labeling Americans as terrorists, congratulations. Americans on the left and the right are now terrorists because the left didn't retract the terrorist declaration on MAGA and other leftist groups, and then turned around and, on the same note, and made right-wingers terrorists as well. So now everybody's a terrorist.
Didn't they label parents under the Biden administration? Didn't they label parents as terrorists and shit? Because
radicals and potential extremists, I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Because they were concerned about the kids being groomed by the teachers and shit. You know, like what the fuck?
I know they wanted to change the definition, like they wanted to get rid of the word mother and replace it with the term birthing person. I'm not sure what the biological father title was what the PC term for a biological father was in that. Probably something derogatory like a sperm donor or something.
We have mommy is now the birthing person, and the daddy sperm donor.
Is that the official vernacular?
No, it's a joke. But,
Well,
but
I'm curious. What is the official vernacular?
yeah, I mean, if they want to change the word mother to birthing person, why? And then you got,
why a lot of the things that happen, dude. And I think that's where a lot of people are like losing
they're losing
their mojo for the left.
They're losing their minds. You had one broad saying, "I had to sue my parents because they gave birth to me without my permission."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so many people are just disillusioned with the left, like, because there's just all these insane ideas coming out that even people on the left are going, huh? What?
And then you got some other broad saying, Gen X is the worst generation ever. How could they defend James Hetfield for making fun of Kurt Cobain? We can't, the motherfuckers.
We made fun of everybody back in the day.
Time out. Young lady, James Hetfield did not say anything bad about Kurt Cobain. It was respect because grunge in the early to mid 90s was something then until it's today.
Thank you.
It was respect because he died. Talented guy out of Seattle, Washington, starred in Nirvana, and changed a generation like John Lennon did.
Yep.
Like Jerry Garcia did, Just because you don't like my generation, I don't give a fuck what you say. Gen X.
I don't think it's even a matter of not liking the generation. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't think it's even a matter of not liking the generation. I think it's just there's such a disconnect from one generation to the next that they just don't understand it.
A huge disconnect.
Yeah.
My son, he's a Gen Z. His mom and I are Gen Xers. My son is following the Gen X philosophy as a Gen Zer.
Yeah, but like for the most part, you figure there's such a disconnect. I mean, you look at the music that's out today in contrast to the music we listen to. It's night and day. Like they can't relate to us any more than we can relate to them.
Yeah.
So how do we expect to be able to have an understanding and for these younger generations to understand our culture if they're not even familiar with it? It's like
most of them
speaking a different language.
If you look at two idiots, I'm gonna say it here, two idiots, Harry Sisson and Dean Withers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Two shills who got paid by the DNC to bullshit on TikTok.
Where the hell's my goddamn paycheck? I want to get paid to bullshit.
They got paid $200,000 to be a shill.
I want $200,000 to be a shill. Where's my money?
Well, the thing is, they were paid to spill bullshit, man. Just like the media, man. But here's one case. Dean Withers was interviewing a guy, and he was asked, "Would you let your son become transgender?" He said no, because his son was still little, a child. He said, "Well, I'm gonna make sure that, just out of nowhere, 21 years old, out of nowhere, said, I'm gonna have my viewers call CPS on you and make sure that you lose custody of your kid."
Yeah, because apparently that's child abuse. Like, I'm sorry, but you say a child is not old enough to make a decision as to whether or not they want a tattoo or a piercing, but they're mature enough to decide whether or not they want to have a body altering surgery or take body altering chemicals into their body. Okay.
After he
You know,
said that,
why don't we just put a 2-year-old behind the wheel of a tank, in the driver's seat of a fucking tank? Okay, let's put a 5-year-old in a freaking jet fighter and send them over to fight in the Middle East. Okay, and they can decide their own fucking gender and decide whether or not they can do all this shit, and they can smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol, drive a car, and go to war and die for their country, right? But no, they can't do all these things. They're too young to make those decisions.
Oh, dude.
But they're mature enough for this? Give me a fucking break.
He got a huge backlash. I never said that. Dude, you said that.
Oh.
Now, here's another one that's stupid. Harry Simpson last year, okay, on X, he said, since Joe Biden has immunity, maybe he could call, maybe he could get the military to go after the Supreme Court justices and the Marines to go after Donald Trump.
Hey, good luck with that.
It says, I never said that. Dude, it's there. It's there. You open the door. You open your mouth. Insert foot up to the fucking kneecap, motherfucker.
And a lot of them are doing that. Like we talked about it on Saturday. Lemon saying black and brown people go out and lawfully buy guns and shoot so that you can shoot ICE agents or any authorities that come to your door to arrest you and circumvent your due process. Well, if they're at your door, how do you know if they're going to circumvent your due process or not? Okay, you're not at that point yet, okay? You're not at the point of an arraignment.
We had one douche nugget saying everybody should go to buy a gun and kill ICE agents.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, but they're saying, go lawfully buy a gun. Well, if you can lawfully buy a gun, you ain't got to worry about an ICE agent coming to your house. That's kind of an oxymoron.
And I'm sitting there going, dumbass, by you saying that, you put yourself in a position where
he's not legally liable.
Where
he's not legally liable if anybody gets killed as a result of his statement. He is legally liable and can go to prison for a very, very long time.
Oh, yeah.
You go to prison for a very, very long time.
Oh, yeah. Like Maxine Waters a few years ago. Of what she said.
Yeah.
Dude, you're inciting violence, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll say it so long as it's convenient for them, but now that it's not, oftentimes they want to backtrack, but now it's saying so they're, in many regards, they're going for broke. And it's like they don't care if their own constituents see this and go, the fuck did he just say? He wants me to what? No. Like that party lost its goddamn mind.
By saying this, look, Maxine Waters was supposed to represent Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
She lives in Beverly Hills in a $14 million house.
Yeah.
The people in LA are suffering.
Yeah, Beverly Hills and Los Angeles, two very different places. They may be in the same county, but okay, Los Angeles isn't Hollywood Boulevard.
No.
And I don't know if you've ever been to LA, but I've been to LA many times. Okay, like you go into, yeah, you have a lot of big, beautiful buildings or a lot of big, beautiful areas there. But in the residential areas, it's not that great. It's not all skyscrapers and beautiful artwork like you see in the high-rise areas, in the high-rise district.
My son and I went through LA in 2017, and it was like smoggy, fucking smoggy, dude.
Dude, you go down by LAX at nighttime, the sky's fucking green. I mean, I am not a conspiracy theorist on the whole climate change thing, but I do know that pollution definitely does have a very evident impact when your fucking sky is green. Okay, yeah. I've been to the Nashville International Airport at night. The sky is not green at the Nashville International Airport. But yet, LAX, the sky is green.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. Okay.
It's insane, man. You know? And I mean, it is. It is insane on so many fucking levels, dude. You know, I mean,
it is, and it's to the point that I think even their constituents are starting to see it. You know, Republicans, you know, pro-globalist that they have been, for the most part, most of them have kind of backtracked on the whole thing and realized that it's pretty much just the dodo. They were just being the dodos running off the side of a cliff.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, Democrats, a lot of them, for the most part, seem to be just dug into this idea and are the dodo running off the cliff. You know, some people, you know, Republicans and Democrats, a great many of them, more Republicans than Democrats, suffice it to say, you know, fact is fact, have woken up to the idea that they were dodos running off, fixing to run off the cliff, and kind of backtracked. But, you know, some of them are just like lemmings, just going right off the side of the cliff. Wasn't it the lemmings that just run off the side of the cliff, or was it dodos?
It's kind of funny. When we went that year, we seen the Scientology building.
Which one, in LA?
Yeah.
I've seen the big ass compound.
Right.
The one with the ship.
Right. This was like right by Greyhound Station.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that where they go out to LAX and to the Greyhound Station with their pamphlets and whatnot?
I don't know.
I don't know about that. But I do know, like, I've never seen that one. I've seen the one in the Hemet San Jacinto Valley, the big ass fucking compound where they got the ship and the Golden Era Studios.
The blue building was a backdrop for one of the Three Stooges shorts.
Doesn't surprise me. Considering a lot of Hollywood elites, you know, a great many of them do ascribe to Scientology.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell my son, we're on the bus, I go, look, we're in Los Santos. He put me in the arm and shit. Like, what the fuck, man? It was kind of, because Scientology is in GTA 5 is kind of equivalent in the game. It's making fun of Scientology, you know. And then you have
Scientology didn't sue the makers of GTA.
But you have Weasel News, which is a parody of Fox News. Then you have Life Invader, a parody of Facebook. You know. But in Watch Dogs 2, you have a cult called the New Dawn, which is a equivalent to Scientology. You know, that shit, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you know, like, shit, you know. But the thing is, Scientology cannot sue Rockstar or Ubisoft.
Because they didn't actually quote them.
Yeah. but it's the same way how they would you know there's a part game I would play where the character goes to this house that's not on the city registry, not registered city, and you go and you see all these people just sitting around doing yoga and shit, all this crap, and it's like a commune of bullshit,
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, and so
It's interesting. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, would you say in closing that, based on our experience this past Saturday, would you say that, given the decreased numbers and the interactions we had with people, that, a lot of the people on the left are kind of becoming maybe disillusioned to some degree with their party and its behavior?
I think there are some becoming disillusioned, but they're doing it privately. Like, for example, if a member of Antifa becomes disillusioned, they can't say it. They have to walk on eggshells and shit.
Yeah. Kind of slink away and hope nobody notices.
Yeah. It's like trying to get away from Scientology. You gotta plan your shit. Plan it, But be careful though,
Yeah. It's a very precarious process, I would say.
Yeah.
But I would say, based on my on the ground experience, that tensions were high, but I think for the most part, a lot of people are becoming disillusioned. But I would agree with some of their sentiments. I can't say that I would disagree with what that one woman said at the end, where she was saying, she would like it if Trump would stop picking on them. Granted, the left it has flung their own share of mud, but as president of the United States, I think he should be the bigger person in hindsight and go, okay, bullshit aside. Like me or not, I am your president.
Yeah.
What is important to you? Bullshit aside, what in your life?
I got to pee.
Go for it. I'm gonna go ahead and carry on with this point.
Okay.
I would say Trump needs to come to the left and go, look, bullshit aside, bullshit issues aside, made up rhetoric aside. Go to the voters and say, what do you care about? What issues are directly impacting you and your family? What can I do as president to make life easier for you and your family? Fuck all these other issues. What affects your house? What affects your family? What affects you directly as an individual? Fuck all the other bullshit. What can I do that is within my power to help you? You are an American citizen. I am your president. I am here to serve you and to try to make this country better. What can I do to do that? What can you put on the table that I can do to do that? Instead of making AI memes of dumping shit on protesters while flying a fighter jet wearing a crown. I mean, come on.
That would be insane, man.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like all I'm really saying is, you do better you do better with honey than shit.
Yeah.
Quite literally, so just put a little honey out there and be like, hey, Democrats, bullshit aside, what affects you directly that I have the power to impact and in some ways improve the quality of your life? I think that may be the approach he should start taking in this regard.
just be careful. I mean, just be careful with the idea that if you are becoming disillusioned and you feel this confliction within yourself, that if it came to that point that you've been this way for so long, you follow this ideology, you follow this, whole routine,
Yep.
and realize you're putting time and effort to do what you need to do, because the writing's on the wall anyway. I think it is that it is the writing's on the wall.
It is,
but
very much so.
There are a few that are afraid to even leave because they are so trained.
It's been all they know for so long.
They're so trained to spot somebody that's disillusioned, wants to leave.
Yeah.
There's some that have left, received threats, even death threats, And
I've not heard anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. It's like, oh, hey, if you don't fucking ascribe to this political ideology, don't show up for Thanksgiving. Oh, you think this way? Okay, we're going to just cut you out of the family, or I'm going to cut you out of my will, or move the fuck out of my house.
2 of them got hit with a terrorism charge today.
Yeah.
2 of them got hit with a terrorism charge, and it's like fucking federal.
Well, a terrorism charge would be a federal charge, naturally.
Oh yeah, naturally. But this should be a wake-up call for them, because a member in Utah, after Charlie Kirk got shot, when she caught wind of that, she heard that Antifa in Portland are shaking, that they're scared because they're labeled domestic terrorist organization.
Yeah, well, like I was talking about a few weeks ago, having been scrolling around some of the leftist groups on X and some of the furry sites and whatnot, some of their furry chat forums and whatnot, and just these various leftist forums, like LGBTQ and trans and all these people. Most of these groups, they're not like Antifa motherfuckers. These are just regular people who are scared out of their fucking minds. People are like, holy shit, I heard that the shooter of Charlie Kirk was a furry and a trans. Oh my God, the Republicans are going to come and kill us all. And I've reached out on many of these forums. I'm like, no, they're not. Because 1, most people are not like that. And 2, most everybody is questioning the official story more and more as time goes on. So I don't think you have to worry about the right coming to hunt you down and kill you because of Charlie Kirk. Okay, it's not going to happen. I think you can sleep easy at night. Say again?
Were done by trans individuals that left behind a
manifesto.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like even this Charlie Kirk story, I don't know if you heard, but that case is freaking closed circuit. Everything on that case has been hush hush. You remember we were talking about it before. Jones has been talking about it. If they go secretive on this case, most everybody who ever knew Charlie Kirk has a gag order against them. Can't talk about it publicly. We all been talking about it in this community that if that happens, then it's evidently a cover-up. It's a clear-cut sign of a cover-up. And I don't know Charlie Kirk, so I'm not privy to a gag order. I can speculate all I want. I'm an outsider looking in.
Kenneth Owens has been
Yeah.
her piece,
But even she can't talk about it now because she's under a gag order because she knows Charlie Kirk personally. So, a lot of people are starting to see this.
One of the things is like getting it's carrying like fast, like it's never been dropped. His wife is being like put up there as the sit-up person,
Yeah, the show pony, and there's a lot of issues surrounding that. But again, like you said, it's all moving very fast, and people on both sides, the right and the left, are waking up.
But again, I don't want to assume anything.
Yeah, you can't assume anything. You just look at, and that's what I would encourage in closing. Everybody, right and left, is starting to see that things are amiss and that things aren't necessarily as cut and dry as they seem.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that on Saturday, and I think we're going to continue to see that as time goes on and as things progress in varying areas. And I would just say to anybody who's experiencing this, look at both sides of the coin. Investigate all angles and make your own determinations. That's all any of us can do.
Not alone.
Yeah, and you are not alone.
You're not alone. You're not alone. We're with you. Yeah, you're not alone.
Yeah. Yeah, you are the resistance. And on behalf of Connor, who couldn't be here, Reverend, thank you. And I think that we covered as much as we can in, over 2 hours.
I think we covered a lot, honestly.
We do. And we could go on forever if we allowed it to.
A lot, man. I think we covered, enough. A lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've reached out to a few people I'd like to talk to. I would like to dive into that more another time. Some interviews I'd like to get going. But, because I want to try to get everybody's perspective. Again, I try to look at things from all angles, and I would encourage, in closing, I would encourage everybody to do the same. Look at all the angles, keep an open mind. Don't just ascribe a piece of information or somebody presenting a piece of information as being one way or another. Just keep an open mind.
If somebody tells you a third party information, stop.
Yeah.
Go
Think for yourself.
Think for yourself. Get the information from the horse's mouth. Because
Exactly.
if you get the information from a third party, they're not telling you everything.
Yeah.
They're only telling you what they heard themselves. Get the information from the horse's mouth.
Exactly.
Because you, even yourself out there watching this, may not have the information you're getting, because the third party person ain't.
Yeah. Biased information is never good information. So investigate all angles. Like Revan said, biased information is never good information, whether it's coming from the right or the left. Go to the source, look at things from all angles, and make your own determinations. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I got to get going. Revan, thank you so much for your input. We could go all night if we could, but you got shit to do. I got shit to do. Unfortunately, Connor couldn't be with us. But we know he's always here in spirit. He tells us to move forward. We move forward regardless.
Exactly.
So maybe he can be here next time. Who knows? But until then, on behalf of Connor, thank you, Revan. And thank you for everybody who's tuned in.
Again, support your local. I'm going to say this again. Support the neuter and spaying of your local neocon, rhino, progressive, liberal, and for free, we'll give you a Marxist, fascist, socialist, communist for free.
And he just undermined everything we talked about. Love you, Revan. This is Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. This has been the Roundtable. If you are watching this, you are the resistance.
Exactly.
eyes, then it was done. That's the